Hey there, everybody. This is Greg Gossett from Gossett Trading and Mentoring Live, and today is Friday, December 11th, 2020, and we again find ourselves in the final hour of the trading day and the final day of the trading week. What a week, huh? The final hour of every day is my favorite time to make my buying and selling decisions because at the end of the day, the large financial institutions come in, take control of the price away from the day traders and the algorithms. In the long term, in my opinion, there is an edge in following what the large financial institutions do at the end of the day because they're dealing with the most money. They have the best information, very smart people, very best technology. And like I just mentioned, I believe it is an edge in the long run to following what to follow what they're doing based upon your entries or your exits. So, wow, what a week, huh? Some volatility came into the market, and that's how it goes sometimes. Sometimes you have tough weeks. Sometimes you do. It's not always rainbows and butterflies, but hopefully at the end of the year, there are more rainbows and butterflies than rotten tomatoes, I guess, right? So currently, the market is, the Dow Jones went positive, up 28 points, up 0.09%. So just barely green, but green nonetheless. The NASDAQ is down 49 points, down 0.41, well off of its lows. It was much lower this morning, and the S&P is down 9.98. So the last few days we've had different indexes being up, some of them being down, so kind of interesting. But thank you all for coming today. It's always nice to see everyone. I look forward to this time of the day. Be able to see all my friends, so I appreciate you coming here, spending the time, contributing to the channel, and I hope this channel is helping you learn some good trading principles. So here's the plan for today. First of all, we are going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer. Secondly, we're going to come back, take a look at my current positions, talk about when I bought them, why I bought them, how I'm going to manage them moving forward. I did have a few nice day trades today, thankfully, that I will share with you. After that, we're going to go over to the board and we're going to take a look at your particular positions and see how they're doing. I do see a little green over there, not a ton, but I do see a green, so we'll cover those. Then we're going to switch gears, talk about trader psychology, most important skill you can learn in trading. Let me say it one more time. Trader psychology, the most important skill that you can learn in trading. Well, not trader psychology, but discipline, right? Discipline, being patient, waiting for the trades to come to you, being disciplined, following your plan. When every fiber in your body is telling you to sell, you probably ought to buy. When every fiber in your body is telling you to buy, you probably ought to sell. That's kind of the way that I look at it. After that, I did go down through my watch list. I did go down through the results of Kamal Scanner, and I do have some potential end of day trades today. I have 3 requirements whenever I'm looking to enter a trade. First, confluence or combination of indicators, ideally on multiple time frames. Number 2, good risk to reward ratio based upon support below you, good solid support below you, and strong and likely resistance above you. That's about the only way you can kind of try to calibrate it, but 2 to 1 is the minimum. 3 to 1, 4 to 1, of course, is even better. And then number 3, always take into consideration how many positions you have, how correlated they are, how much account heat you have. And I say this in regards to taking a new position, because if you already have 4 tech stocks and you get a new good tech setup, well, maybe you should go with another one that's not so correlated. All right, so then I'm going to go down through those candidates at the end of the day and right before the market closes. And if I find something that looks good, I will go ahead and enter the trade at the end of the day. And I'll also get out of trades that I need to get out of at the end of the day. Then when the market closes, if you have any questions for me, need me to elaborate on anything, I'm happy to do that. If you'd like me to take a look at any stock symbols before the market closes, just put them in the chat. I'll do my very best to get to them before the market closes. And then lastly, as always, if you have any new entries or exits you'd like to tell me about and have me put up on the board, if you could please wait till the end of the day so I'm done teaching and done trading, markets close, pressure's off. All right, so that's the plan. That's the format for today. So hang tight. I'm going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer, and I will be back in 40 seconds. Thank you. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Please carefully read and/or listen to the U.S. government required disclaimer before watching this video or live stream broadcast. The video link and disclaimer text are located in the description section of this video or live broadcast, here and here. Thank you so much. All right, let's take a look and see who is here today. Lova is here. Good to see you. Hi, everyone. Greg Lova says, Greg, I would like your thoughts on PGR in order to test myself. I think I see some good indicators and one bad indicator. Okay, fair enough. Let's take a look. All right, well, it's good that we have broken over this 50-day moving average. That is certainly good. We're over the 50 RSI. MACD is positive. It would give you a good risk to reward ratio here. If you use the 50 as your stop, you might be able to make it all the way up here. Things go right, but it offers a pretty good risk to reward ratio. One thing I don't like though is that we have this big old bar over here. We went down, we rallied right up to about 50, failed, and we're right back to the 50 again. So that would be my concern, but not too bad. I mean, of course, you never know what's going to happen, but that is what stuck in my mind right off the bat. Johan is here. Hey, Johan, good to see you, bud. Hope you're having a nice evening. Evan is here. Hey, Evan, good afternoon to you too. John says, hi, is Ollie on your look at list? It is. It is. You're psychic. John? Yeah. We had a nice washout of the negative third ATR channel. We have a V1. We have a false breakout from the range. We rejected the 200-day moving average. Yes, it is, for sure. Nice that you saw that as well, John, but I'll look at that in a bit. Morg's here. Hey, good to see you, Morg. Hope you're having a good evening in South Africa. Thanks for coming. Kamal is here. Hey, bud. Good to see you. Thanks for everything that you do for the channel, Kamal. Dan is here. Hi, Greg and the Gossets. Hey, Dan. Good to see you, bud. Steve Burns. Hey, buddy. Good to see you. Thank you so much for including me on your Friday list on Twitter. That's very kind of you. I appreciate it very much. And I also appreciate you coming and stopping by and spending some time here in the chat with us, Steve. It's always an honor and a privilege. So Steve says, hello, everyone. Weekend 1 hour away. Oh, good. This has been a long week. I'm looking forward. Frank is here. Hey, Frank, good to see you, bud. Hello, Greg and group. Hello, Frank. Pat is here. Hey, Pat, good to see you. Hi, Greg and all. Nice to see you, Pat, for sure. And I'm looking forward to our next lesson on Monday. Bob is here. Hello, Bob. Good to see you. Okay. Let's see. All right, well, let's get to it, shall we? All right, here is Lowe's Corporation that I bought yesterday. Pat and I bought it. I like this setup. We had a big bar up. We came back down. We tested the 50 fib number. We triggered with a V1 yesterday. Also a fractal, closed above the high here. 2 lower highs to the left, 2 lower highs to the right. I bought it at 43.63. It's 43.60. So it's 3 cents underwater, but you know, it gapped way down, wasn't looking good, so it has come back. So that's positive. My stop on this is the close below the low of yesterday's bar, which is the washout bars. That's the little pink line there. So just barely underwater, but I'm comforted by the fact that it gapped down and reversed back up. So if it stays just like this at the end of the day, I will go ahead and keep the trade. MSI, Gary and I took MSI. Oh, this started out so promising. Nice return to value, sideways motion, false breakout to the downside, bullish engulfing bar, V1, everything you wanted. Initially went up, glad that I took some profits when I had them. That's why I like to take profit targets. Yesterday came right down to the halfway bar and bounced, which I was encouraged by. But today I am going to have to get out, except unless we have some miracle and it closes back over this red line. But it does not look likely. It's down 1.89% just today. So this has been an ugly trade, but that's how it goes. So very likely I will be exiting MSI here today at the end and taking a loss. SPY. Well, I bought the SPY yesterday at 366.73 at the close for my overnight trade. I sell it first thing the next morning. Sold it right there at 364.93. So I entered at 363.73, got out at 364.93. Are those both 93s? Oh, no, a 70 and in 93. So like $2.80. So that's a bummer. But as always, I will be buying this today at the close, holding it all over the weekend and selling it first thing. USO. I did buy USO here at 30.97. It's 31.90. So it's up fairly good. It's up 2.85%, but I did buy this on the monthly bar. And the reason I bought it was a under 30, over 30 on the monthly, and an under the negative third, over the negative third. So this will be a long-term trade. I hardly even notice it, because it's going to be such a long-term trade. But it is up, so grateful for that on a down day like today. XLV, David, let's see. Frank, David, Johan, and Ava, and myself, we did buy healthcare, XLV, with this nice return to value, sideways motion, V2. I bought it here, 109.37, has moved up nicely since I've bought it. I do scale out whenever it moves up a certain amount, so I have been scaling all the way out here. It is more than 1.5 ATRs for my entry, so I am in trailing stop mode. Today it looks like we are going to close below the previous day's low. So what do? I will go ahead and sell half of the remaining shares and lock in profit. Unless this closes above yesterday's low, which I could, but I kind of doubt it. So I will be locking in half of my profits on this trade here. Alibaba is not a stock trade, and not a directional trade, I should say. I did sell puts on Alibaba down to 180 with the 200-week moving average above as protection. That dovetails nicely with the confluence of the 50-month and the negative 1 ATR channel month at the 180 price. Is down 50 cents today, but you can see it's just been moving sideways, which I'm very happy with, because when you sell puts, you basically just want to run out the clock and eat up time, and this has been perfect. So that's nicely in the money. Okay. I did have some nice trades today on Apple and Microsoft. Let's see. First one here on Microsoft on the 5-minute. Boy, this has moved sideways so much it's hard to read the chart. Okay. I did buy Microsoft here when we rejected the 50, we rejected the 50, we rejected the 50. It came back into the value zone. I bought it here at, where's my line? 211.02. My stop would have been a close stop below with the 50. Had a nice big up bar after I bought it, so I did go ahead and take half. I sold it at 211. Then when it moved sideways a little bit, came down, and then came down to my entry point. So it was a profitable trade. I locked in from here to here half, but then it came back to my break-even point where I got out because I did not want to let that turn into a loss. I'm sure you can imagine or understand that. Let's see. All right, then we had one more on Microsoft. Right here. Boy, my charts are a little... Okay, here we go. Here we had a V1, we had a bullish engulfing bar, and what really caught my eye on this trade was the increased volume on the bullish engulfing bar. So I bought here at 210.70, Moved sideways, didn't do much, had a nice big up bar, sold half at 211.34. Had a close below the previous day's low, so I sold half here, sold half of a half here, and then here it got back to my break-even point. So anyway, two good trades there, and then let's switch over to Apple. All right. Here was the first trade on Apple, under 30, over 30. I bought it here at 120.71 intra-bar. It went under 30, over 30. You can see there's a huge amount of volume here. So that's why I decided to pull the trigger with the under 30, over 30 in the large volume. Bought here at 120.71. Just went sideways, didn't do much. I didn't know if I was right. Then I had a nice big up bar here, which I sold half at 121.11. Had another big surge up bar. I took another half of a half, 121.34. And then here we had a close below the previous day's low. So got in at 120.71, out at 121.11, out at 121.25, and out at 121.34. There we go. All right. So I hope that makes sense. I know that was a little hard. Oh, look at Apple here, really surging. Okay. Steve says Chewy and Disney big bull moves today. Yeah, I saw that. I think Disney made an all-time high. Look at that, everybody, up 13.92% on their with their growing subscriber. Congratulations, anybody that's in Disney. And let's take a look at Chewy. Up 8.59%. Wow. Yep. Very nice. Very nice. I hope somebody's in that. Frank says, agree. Oh, Frank has a poem for us. Let me type this over here. Let's see what Frank has for us today. Agree to disagree. The tension that gives the market its volatility. Thinking twice about price before throwing the dice. Traders make money when they follow the light. It never was about being right. Oh, fantastic. Agree to disagree. The tension that gives the markets its volatility. That's right. There's always somebody on one side of the trade and the other. Thinking twice about price before throwing the dice. Traders make money when they follow the light. It was never about being right. Thank you, Frank. Thank you. Thank you. Perfect as always. And thank you so much for taking the time to do that for the group. I learn a lot from these poems. I do. David is here. Hi, Greg and group. Hi, David. Good to see you, bud. Good to see you. All right. Let me switch over here real quick. All right. Let us take a look. Kamal had a day trade earlier in the day that he let me know about. He bought Alibaba. Looks like we have a false breakout to the downside, V1. He bought it intraday at 264.14. It's already 264.82. So congratulations, Kamal. I imagine Kamal will hold this as long as it stays above his price. So very nice. VIX. Wow, VIX was a big move today. So we have Gary and we have Quad. Quad bought back here at 1991. Gary bought here at 1723. It's currently 1767. It's up 1.71% today, but at one point today it was up 6.87%. So I'm glad Quad made a little bit back, and I'm glad Gary is finally in the money on this trade. So congratulations, Gary. DOCU. All right. So Yas, GM, and Brian took this, was the 30 EMA crossover, bought it here at 224.12. It's currently 225.46. It's up on the day and looks like everyone is up on the trade. And I know Yas scaled out some here. He only has a third left, so I'm glad to see that he did that. Eli Lilly has been a great trade for Gary and Yas. Gary and Yas bought this here at 148.41 with this close over the 200-day moving average. It's down just a little bit today, but nicely up so far, up 7.55%. So excellent. Spotify, Johan, Brian had a great trade on Spotify. They bought it at 269.60. Looks like a crossover here. Break of the range. It's down a little bit today, but so far, this is up 21.36%. Looks like Johan has 1 quarter left. He's scaled out as it's been going up. The Qs. All right, so the Qs well off of their lows. You can see we were way down earlier. Frank has a 10%. Is it just Frank? Yeah. Frank has a 10% trailer. He bought at 284.60. It's currently 301.61. So nice trade there, Frank. Frank is up, looks like about 5.6 as far as from entry to where it is now. Amgen. Gary bought Amgen at 230.30. I also did. I got out yesterday, though, when it closed below the 200-day moving average. Was much lower. It has come off the lows a lot, but so this is down today, and Gary currently is down on the trade. Zynga keeps going up for Bob. Bob bought Zynga at $7.91. It is currently $8.71, so almost a full dollar, up 9.18%. It's amazing. Very nice. Gary, this is Gary, right? Yeah, Gary sold credit spreads on MasterCard expiring January 15th, the 290, 280s, meaning that it has to close above 290 for Gary to make his money, but it's 327, so it's looking pretty good today, although it did kind of break down today, but he still has a lot of protection. Google. Gary sold credit spreads on Google expiring January 15th, the 1570, 1550s. It is currently 1776, so he has $206 of protection. He sold those yesterday, and the price is up, so he is doing fine. He's doing great on those so far. DKNG, Ava and Jackson. Jackson bought down at 35.60 a long time ago. Ava bought at 48.32. It's currently 49.53. It is down today, but both Ava and Jackson are up on the trade. Alibaba. Oh, we already talked about Alibaba. TMO. Brian bought TMO at 448.50. It's currently 470.27. Up today. Nicely up on the trade. VIX, we already talked about. PTON. Who do we have here? We have Johnson and Yas, and Gary sold 116 puts against his position. Everyone bought it at 115.79. It's currently 116.79. So a little down on the day, but everyone's up on the trade. Costco. Frank bought Costco at 377.50. It's currently 376.13. It is up today, but a little down on the trade. Teladoc. Frank and Johnson bought Teladoc here at 190.50. It's 199.21, up on the day, up on the trade. TTCF. All right, Bob and Johan, and who else had this? I forgot. Somebody else had this, but look at this beautiful trade by Bob and Johan. Nice under 200, over 200, good risk to reward ratio. It's up 4% just today. And Bob and Johan are up 14.68% on this trade. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Walmart. All right, Nick bought Walmart. Kind of interesting today, actually. False breakout to the downside and a V1. This is on my watch list, but this one is down so far. Tree, Evan and David. Nice setup. V1, false breakout to the downside, under 30, over 30, all the confluences that we look for. Currently up 10.88%. Man, all these 10% moves are just fantastic. Qualcomm, oh boy. Carul bought Qualcomm at 157.20. It is down 8.12% today. Ugh. I hope Carul comes back and tells me he got out earlier, but that's what it looks like so far. That's pretty nasty there. Facebook, Kamal bought Facebook here at 265.90. It's currently 273.80. It's down 1.2% today. And Jatin also has this, but still up on the trade. Merck, little green today. Brian bought Merck at 82.51. And it's 83.09, so up today. Nice. Beyond Meat, Kamal had a nice little trade on Beyond Meat yesterday at 135.95. It's 139.05. So Kamal is up 2.41% from his day trade. Fantastic. We're getting there. We're getting there. Speaking of Kamal, Kamal bought AAXN at 124. It's 123.11, so down today and down on the trade. TWOU, Johan bought TWOU yesterday at 34.24. It's 33.81. It's down 1.11%. W, Brian bought W at 243.09. It's 242.37. So it is down and slightly down on the trade, not much. And last but not least, Align. Jatin bought Align here at 441. Had a beautiful run up. So glad he sold half when he got up here near the third ATR channel. This is always, a point of contention when the prices get up here. 92% of the time it fails, and it did. But he still has half, but he's still nicely up on the trade. Okay. Ava is here. Hi, Ava. Nice to see you, my friend. Hope you're having a nice day. Quad is here. Good afternoon, Greg and group. Happy Friday. Thank you. Tracy is here. Oh, Tracy is the one that had TTCF, right? Trace? Got to put my friend Tracy up there since that's such a great trade. Tracy. All right. TTCF was Ava's idea. Yes, it was. It was, and it was a great idea. I mean, it was a great trade. It turned out great, but the setup was great. We have this nice rejection of the 200 and over the 200, under the -1 ATR channel, over the -1 ATR channel. All it does is offers you a good risk to reward and gives you a very well-defined line in the sand. If it closed below the 200, hopefully you would have gotten out. But so you risked a little and you were fortunate enough to make a lot. So congrats. Oh, Tracy said, I did have some, but I sold the other day. Oh, I remember talking about that. Yeah, I remember talking about that. Okay. Also had Lily for a bit, but sold that. Okay. All right. Well, let me check on current positions before I move ahead here. I think I got out of TTCF with the 12% game. Outstanding. Very nice. And thanks to Ava for pointing that out. Very nice of you, Ava. Ava is quite the trader. She is, every day I see Ava's trades, I'm more impressed and more impressed. All right, let me just take a quick look here. Pat and I's Lowe's is positive for the day. Hallelujah. Very nice. Glad to see that. MSI, I am going to have to get out of this. It did go underneath my stop loss, but I'm glad it's well off the lows. So I'll be selling that today. SPY, of course, overnight SPY loss. I will buy this again, hold it the weekend. USO down a little bit today, but up on the trade. XLV is the one I have to really watch to lock in some profits. Let's see, the low here is 111.89. So let me put a little marker here. 111.89. So basically, If today we close below yesterday's low, which was 111.89, I have to lock in half of my profits on this trade, which I always like locking in some profits. So this is really the one I have to watch. MSI is almost for sure going to have to put that one away and get rid of that one. But XLV, it's possible it could close if we have a strong close, not sure. All right, and then we had Microsoft. Oh, I skipped over Yas because I had my day trades. So Gary sold 220 strike prices against his Microsoft position. He got $206 a contract. And Yas also bought Microsoft, and I believe bought it at 213.82. It's 212.80. It is up over 1% today, so it is quite strong. You can see, though, we have two significant areas of resistance right here. We just rejected the 50-day moving average, and we rejected the 50 RSI. Those are two very important overhead resistance. So us going down and getting stopped right at the confluence of the 50-day moving average and the 50 RSI does not surprise me whatsoever. And almost to the penny it got there. Almost to the penny. You know, we play from the 30 RSI to the 50. If we get over the 50, we can play from the 50 to 70. If we're at the 70, we're probably going to find support back at the 50 RSI, right? And if we lose the 50, we might go down to the 30. So it always plays. That's why I have three lines here: a 30 RSI, 50 RSI, and a 70 RSI. But we played under, back to the 50, and that's right where it got denied. All right. Okay, dokie. So listen, before we go on and take a look at the end of day candidates, looking for our end of day trade, before we do that, I just want to talk a little bit, get away from charts and indicators and talk about the most important part, which, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, is the discipline that you need in trading. And if you find yourself not following your plan, not following what you plan to do when things were nice and quiet, right? When you turned on your computer and you had a bunch of lights blinking, and if that all went out the window and you started making impulsive decisions, then you have some work to do when it comes to discipline. And there's some really great Twitter channels, Facebook channels out there that talk about this concept all the time, every day. And my favorite, Stephen Burns, who is in the chat with us right now. And this is over at the New Traders, Rich Traders over on Facebook. It's a great group, so if you ever have a chance, come on over and subscribe. You have to apply, but hopefully they'll let you in. But let's see what Steve has to say. What a trader thinks their risk tolerance is can be very different than what it really is during a drawdown or losing streak. Give me one sec. Okay. So yeah, one of my students, Pat, on our first call together, I said, look, you have to do some real thinking about what your maximum risk tolerance is per trade. In my experience, a lot of my students tell me, okay, it's $1,000 or it's $2,000. And what I really have come to find out is that it's usually just about half of what they say. Sure, you can lose one trade and be okay with it, but you have to imagine yourself losing 2, 3, 4, 5 trades in a row, and that happening like twice in a month. Are you really, really comfortable with that maximum loss? I mean, every trade hinges upon your maximum loss. If your maximum loss was $20, you probably wouldn't stress too much, right? But if your maximum loss is $5,000 per trade, and you have multiple losses in a row, it's going to wear on you. So what Steve's saying here is what a trader thinks their risk tolerance is can be very different than what it really is during a drawdown or losing streak. So what you think you're okay with, in my experience, and probably in Steve's experience too, dealing with students, is that the risk they think they're okay with, they're not okay with. And a good rule of thumb that I have found over the years is if you feel like you're going to be okay with $1,000 maximum loss on a trade, cut it in half. Really cut it in half, because the worst thing that can happen is when you're out there trading and you have a drawdown, you run into a bad streak, a bad patch of trading, that the losses destabilize you, demoralize you, may have you make bad decisions. So it's not just all about dollars and cents in trading. It's about keeping yourself in a calm state, a neutral state where you're not too excited when you're winning, where you're not too depressed when you're losing. And it all circles back to most likely cutting your position size of what you think your risk tolerance is. If you cut it in half, you'll probably be right on the money. So anyway, I hope that helps, but it's super important. It's the core of all trading, is what is your maximum loss on any one trade. A lot of people just say 1%. So, if you had $100,000, 1% is $1,000. You take that $1,000, you divide it by your 2 ATR, that tells you how many shares to buy. You just really have to make sure you're okay with the $1,000, not just because it's 1%. I don't use 1%. I use about 0.5% of my capital per trade, because I do that because I want to stay emotionally stable. I don't want to get too excited or too depressed. So anyway, if you have any questions on that, let me know, but it's a very, very important part of trading. And thanks again, Steve Burns. Thanks for all you do for the channel. And thank you for this great, as soon as I saw this post, I was like, ooh, I'm doing that one today, because that really hits home and it's very relevant to a lot of traders. Okay. All right, let's look at some potentials. I'm also going to look at some weekly trades today. Today is a Friday, and of course the end of a weekly bar is on Friday, so I do have a couple that I have been looking at to potentially take a weekly trade as well. But let's start with the dailies. Here is Evergy. Let's take a look and see what's happening here. All right, so it is kind of interesting. We had a false breakout from this previous range here, from the low of this range. We reversed. We also have a beautiful V1. Here's day one, here is day two. Day two washes out day one, closing above. Rejected the 50-day moving average. This is all pretty good. Where would my stop be on this? Halfway of the washout bar, right about here. I may fudge this one a little bit and go with the 50-day moving average because it's strong. And you can see the last time we got to the 50 SMA, it rejected it handily. So it's always good to see which moving average have been rejected in the past, and it's more than likely that that one will hold in the future. It doesn't have to be that way, but probably greater odds than just chance. But you see how the 50 held beautifully here. Well, it held pretty beautifully here as well. So, if I do take this trade, it would have to close above the 50 RSI. That's one thing. If it's above 50 right now, but if it closes below 50, then I'll have to pass on the trade. My risk is going to be about from here to here. My reward, I don't know if it's going to reject the 100. It did last time. Now that I look at this, though, this is more like a one-to-one risk to reward. Here to here, your risk. Here to here, your reward. And like I say at the beginning of every show, I want 2-to-1. So now I'm not as excited about that now that I look at it. Let's look at the weekly. Doing pretty well on the weekly. It's holding the 5, the 20, and the 10 EMA, but it did reject the 50 on the weekly. So that doesn't make it so good. So I'm probably just going to let that one go. Ollie's Bargain Outlet. Well, John brought this up earlier. This is very similar. Let's take a look. What was it was tree, right? Tree trade? Look at this section right here. V1, under the negative third, over the negative third, false breakout to the downside from this range, under 30, over 30, and look at that nice move that David and Evan had. So look at this, and then, got that in your mind, how that looks? And now let's look at Ollie. Very similar, isn't it? I don't know if we went under 30. I don't think we did, but I'm going to measure here. No, not quite. But it tested under the negative third yesterday, tested under the negative third again today. Bullish engulfing bar. Don't see a lot of volume. That's one thing. False breakout to the downside, rejection of the 250-day moving average. So this one's pretty good. Let's look over on the weekly and see what that looks like. Big bar last week. That is a little concerning, but it did reject the 100 and the 50-week moving average this week. So the weekly, I do like that part. Not thrilled about this bar, but from a risk to reward standpoint, you know, right about here to here. So that gives about 2 to 1 to the upside. Let me look over back here. Halfway of this washout bar would be way up here. Not washout bar, sorry, of the big down bar. So yeah, I mean it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So I'll put that one off to the side. RHI, Robert Half International. Came into the value zone. Close there 64.51. So for a V2 to happen, it would happen here at 64.51. So I'll keep that in mind. I think I still like Ollie better though. UNP is Union Pacific. Did have a false breakout from the downside here. Did have a rejection of the negative 1 ATR channel here. Did have a V1. Today washes out yesterday's bar back above. We're right back into the range, into this consolidation here. It's a 53.30, so it is a false breakout downside. It is a V1. It is over 50. If we look at the weekly, kind of a mixed message here. It did bounce off the 5-week EMA. Is up today. It's okay. And then Walmart. We talked about Walmart earlier. We came down into the value zone. We stopped going down. We had sideways motion here. We do have a V1 and a false breakout from this low here. So here's day one, here's day two. Day two washes out day one, closes above day one's close. I would really prefer that this closed into the value zone at the very least. Let's look over at the weekly. Pretty good. It's holding. It rejected the 1 ATR channel above, so that's positive. So yeah, those are all potentials. Let's look at some of the other ones. VMware. I don't see anything there. It's just moving sideways. It would have to show us a breakout or something for me to get interested in VMware. The Middle Buy Corporation. No, don't see anything there either. LXEH. Oh my gosh, not enough volume, not even close. Lulu. Oh my. Good example here, everybody, of stocks moving up, taking the stairs up, and then taking the elevator shaft down. Stocks always go down faster than they go up, usually, unless they're Disney. You know, do you want to buy this? Well, it did bounce off the 50, which is good. Certainly better than buying it up here. But I think very likely you could get some follow through on this big down bar. So I'm not going to do anything with Lulu. MCK. No, I don't see anything with MCK either. CRTO. Not really. Microsoft. Well, no, because yes, we have a V1. Yes, we have a rejection of the -1 ATR channel, but look, we're at 40.89. We got stopped right at the 50, and we got stopped right at the 50 RSI. So double confirmation, and these bands of the 10 and the 20 here. So who knows? Microsoft can go on up. I mean, the Nasdaq is down today, and it is up, so it's showing some good relative strength. But no, I would not initiate a new position in Microsoft at this point. Frank has Costco. This is also on the scanner. I don't see anything here though for taking a new position. DIA has a V1. This bar on the Dow and the SPY and the Qs, very concerning to me, everybody. We had false breakout to the downside. We had a V1, and it came on huge volume. These last couple days, we've tried to attempt to go back up, and it's been on very, very low volume. So that's very suspect to me. And that goes for all the indexes. Roper, it's 113,000 shares, so not enough. So let's focus on the potentials here. Ollie's Bargain Outlet, that is a nice, I mean, it's up nicely today. It thoroughly tested the area below this range, tested twice below the -3rd ATR channel. 38 RSI, a little high, but let's try the weekly again. Weekly, I'm not thrilled about that big down bar. Monthly, we're in the value zone. Let's see. It's a good place on the monthly, right in the middle of the value zone. Weekly did reject the 50 and the 100, and pretty clear. Yeah, I kind of like that, actually. Robert Half. It's too high for me. It's too high in the channel where we just rejected the 3rd ATR channel. I mean, it is up a little bit today, but I still like Ollie better. UNP. No, I'm going to pass on that. And then Walmart. So it is a nice false breakout to the downside. I think it's untriggered the V1, but I think I'm going to pass on this. Real quick, I wanted to show you a potential weekly trade that I'm looking at right now. On the weekly, and this is very similar to the type of trades that I take day trading. This is AGQ, this is silver. You can see we came down, we rallied back up to the 50 RSI and rejected it. Right now it's 49.51, so earlier in the week we were above 50 RSI. When did that happen? Yeah, that was right there. So, you know, we have a V1 to the downside. We rejected the 50 RSI. We rejected the 10, the 20, and the 5 weekly EMA. My stop would be very close. Next week, if it happened to close above the 50 RSI on the weekly, I would get out. So it's a pretty good risk to reward ratio all in all. Yeah, it's pretty good. And I mean, we made a lower low, we came up, we rejected the 50, we have a V1 to the downside. So that is one potential. And gold is also. Gold came down, made a lower low, came up, rejected the 50 RSI, rejected the moving averages. So the real question is, which one do I like better? Silver did reject this previous low, so it was a false breakout and came back up. Gold, yeah, and let's see. Yeah, silver definitely was the, let's see how we look on the daily. Lost the 50. Let's look at the gold on the daily. 46. They're about the same. We have some support down here on gold. Yeah, so I'm gonna short AGQ on the weekly just as long as it stays below 50 RSI, with 50 RSI and the V1 to the downside, and big bar down, couldn't hold the halfway, now we're below. So this is a weekly trade. I will short this at the end of the day, and if it closes back above 50 RSI next week, I'll have to get out, and then of course I'll have profit targets to the downside as well. Okay, so let me quickly look over here. So L's doing fine. MSI, I've got to get out of, lock in that loss on MSI. Unfortunately, SPY buying at the end of the day. XLV, looks like I'm going to have to sell half. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to sell half of my XLV right here and now. Okay. All right. All right, so I sold half my XLV. I'm locking in profits on half my XLV. And I have to get rid of MSI. All right, I'm out of MSI. What do I have? 7 minutes. Ollie, I'm probably just going to wait, but I am going to go ahead and short my AGQ here for my weekly trade. Okay, there's my short on AGQ. Oops. And Ollie does look pretty good, so we have about 6 minutes, so I'll do that at the end. Evan says, AZN thoughts. It's not bad. It's technically a bullish engulfing bar. It looks like we had a crossover. MACD is positive. Let's look over at weekly. Weekly's holding 50 RSI. It's holding the moving averages below. You know, it's not bad. Let's see where the 50 RSI would be if you have to get out of this. So you would lose the 50 right about those bands right there. So you know, if I were to take this trade, I would get out with the close below halfway of this bar, right about 59.34. So you're not risking a lot, and you have a potential maybe to get on up here. So yeah, it's good. It's not bad. It's not bad at all, Evan. Gary says, Lulu, good earnings beat and got slammed. Yeah, that happens very often, you know. Just because a company has good earnings doesn't mean it necessarily has to go up. A lot of time it's just baked in the cake. Johnson says, hi, Greg, Walmart is below 50 RSI. If that would matter, not taking this trade. Well, it's not the problem that it's under 50 RSI. The question is, did it reject the 50 RSI today? It did not quite, but I don't think I'm going to be taking it. I mean, you make a good point with the 50 RSI. It'd be better if it closed above Johnson for sure, but it looks like it's not closing above the -1 ATR channel either, and that concerns me. So Ollie looks like the best potential trade for me today. Okay. All right, I am done. Okay. Yas is an Ollie. Okay, good. So we have about 1 minute to go. Looks like Microsoft's hitting a high on the day. Yeah, Microsoft's really cruising there. All right, there's the end of the week. Whew. What a week, huh? This was a tough week for me swing trade wise. It was a great week day trading wise, but as far as swing trades, this was not one of my finest, but that's how it goes sometimes for sure. Let me see where I got filled on everything. All right, SPY. I bought SPY at 366.30, and I bought OLLI at 79.50, and I bought XLV, or I shorted, sorry, 111.69. All right. So, what? Oh, Oh, 79.50, not 99.50. That would have been good. 79.50. All right. 79.50. On Ollie. Overnight SPY trade at, over weekend SPY trade, that is, at 366.30. And AGQ oh, 42.38. I was looking at the wrong one. I was looking at XLV. 42.38. All right, and then my short on AGQ is 42.38. And again, that is a weekly trade. All right, so that's a weekly trade because of the V1, the rejection of the 50. And so I will make a decision on that on next Friday. All right. So L closed exactly even. Okay, better than nothing. MSI I got out of, just waiting to see if Gary got out of that. XLV, I sold half here with the close below the previous day's low. I can get Microsoft and Apple. Oh, I forgot to go over Apple. So Gary has Apple at 108 and Frank has Apple at 111. All right, there we go. So listen, if you have any new positions for me today, just go ahead, put them in the chat. I'll get them all updated for you. Just real quick, just my daily reminder, I do teach private one-on-one lessons in the evening time. I teach a 15-hour course. It's a great course. I know it'll make you a better trader. I think it's the best way to learn is one-on-one with your student, and that's why I format the lessons. It's just you and I for 15 hours learning all of my trading setups. So if you're interested, send me an email. Email's in the description of this video. You can also send me a message on Twitter, and if you do, I'll reply. We'll set up a Skype call. We'll chat. We'll talk shop, and of course you can ask me questions about the course. I'll just ask you questions about your trading and your goals, and if you decide at the end there that you want to take it, no problem, we'll do it. If you don't want to, no problem either. I've been very busy with teaching lately, I really have, and but I like it, I really do. So, and then lastly, if you could hit the thumbs up button, I would really appreciate it. It would help the channel a lot, and if you find the channel helpful at all, just taking a couple seconds hitting that would be kind of you. So let's take a look. All right. So yes, it's in Ollie. Yes, it's AGQ short. It's too thick for my skin, for my thin blood. Evan, AZN. It's a weekly trade though. Yeah, so the position size is much smaller, so that makes it a little easier to handle. 54.26. That's Evan. Gary is out of Amgen. Yep. And out of MSI. So we're both out of that. free up some room here. Kamala's in Alibaba from 264.14, so that's good. That's 40 cents so far, nice. Johan is out of XLV. All right. Frank says, just sold and held my SPY overnight and will pass on the weekend. Okay. You are in IAU. All right. Which is gold. Yep. All right, Frank, and you're out of SPY. Dan, would you mind looking at the SPY on the weekly and the monthly? Sure. So here's the monthly. We're up there at the second ATR channel. We are above it. We have a bit of a bearish RSI divergence. We were higher over here than we were over here, even though we're higher here. I would be very concerned about taking or holding SPY when you get up here next to the third ATR channel, but it may make it up there. So that's the monthly. On the weekly, we have some divergences on the weekly. Here's a high, tall MACD bars. We pulled back, went to red. We are higher now, and the MACD bars are lower than over here. So there's some divergences happening here, and we're getting pretty close to that third ATR channel. So I think the rubber band's starting to get pulled a little tight. Frank says also stopped out of XLV. Okay. Dan says, someone smashed the like button to get off 13. Oh, thank you, Dan. I always appreciate that. Johnson says, in Ollie. Okay. Out of PTON. Okay. Holding till it up. Quad says, hey, Greg, I got out of AGQ with the reverse of the crossover. Okay. Glad to hear that. That was nasty. This was a tough week. This was a very tough swing trading week. Sometimes your swing trades go well, your day trades not so hot. Sometimes your day trades go great, swing trades not so much. But this was the latter for me this week. I had a good day trading week except for 2 days ago, but swing trade has been tough. All right. What's happening after hours here? Not too much. Okay. Ava is an ISRG. All right, Ava, good luck on that one, my friend. Oh, it's $7.50. Okay. Oh, nice price already. Perfecto. Oh, you got beautiful entry price. So it's snowing here today. I went outside and went, what is this witchcraftery? It's the first time I've seen snow. I was totally surprised by it. So I'm going to put my hiking boots on, put my cold stuff on, and go tromping around in the snow. Going to go out to dinner tonight. Looking forward to that. So a cold hike, go for a nice warm dinner. It all works out. All right. So if you have any other updates, if you have any other questions, please let me know. Otherwise, that's going to be it for the week. Thank you all for coming. Try to go out and do something nice for somebody today. Just a smile, a wave, a hello, just a kind gesture, help somebody out. And then if you run across an animal, whether it's yours or someone else, be kind to the animal. Give them a little attention. Give them a little snack. Give them a little hug or a cuddle. One nice thing for a human, one nice thing for an animal every day would go a long way to make this world a better place. Kamal says, happy snowing, Greg. Be careful of black ice. Have a great weekend. I sure will. Thanks, bud. Gary says, happy Friday. Enjoy the hike. Have a great weekend. You as well. All right. Everybody have a good weekend. Be good. Be safe. Read some trading books. Do some chart study. And be good. Right? Yas says, could we look at Microsoft? Yes. So here's Microsoft. Well, big day today. Bullish engulfing bar. We got stuck right at the 50 SMA. Looks like we went barely over the 50 RSI and under the 50 RSI. Let's look at the weekly. Weekly, we had that big down bar. We've moved nicely sidewards. So I would expect Microsoft in the near future here to either take off either to the upside or the downside, but nice consolidation in Microsoft here for sure. And a potential trigger here today. It's a vulnerable point. We got above 50 RSI. Dan says, thank you, Greg. I'm really grateful for your time and the Gossetts too. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate that. Johan says, hearing you makes me miss the snow. Have a safe and great hike, Greg, and have an awesome weekend, everyone. Thank you, Johan. And excellent trading that you've been doing, Johan, lately. Just fantastic, superb trades. Really proud of you, my friend. So, all right, on the way out of here, I'm going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer, so we'll take a little break till next week. So take care, everyone. Hope to see you on Monday. Okay, talk to you later now. Bye. U.S. government required disclaimer. Stock, options, futures, and forex trading is not appropriate for everyone. While there is a potential for large rewards, there is also a substantial risk of loss associated with trading. The material in this video or live broadcast is not geared towards any particular individual or to any particular financial situation and is not intended to meet the particular investment objectives of any viewer. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Any and all information contained in, implied, or referenced by this video or live broadcast is not to be construed as investment advice. and no representation is made that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast is an investment or financial advisor or is registered or authorized to give any financial advice. We are publishers and educators only. Therefore, the various producers of this video or live broadcast will not accept liability for any loss or damage of any kind which may arise either directly or indirectly out of the use of any of this material, including any loss of profit. No representation is made that any account or investment will or is likely to achieve the profit or losses demonstrated. We recommend consultation with a licensed and qualified professional before making any investment decision. This video or live broadcast is not to be construed as an offer to buy or sell any security, financial instrument, or financial product of any kind. Notice is hereby given that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast or their clients may have an interest in any security, financial instrument, or financial product mentioned or referenced. Any simulated or hypothetical performance result depicted does not represent actual trading and therefore may under or overcompensate for the impact of various market factors such as lack of liquidity. Thank you.